Hello, everybody. It's the old bear from the Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot, and tonight we're going to do an interview of a YouTube channel. Um, they do stories on Bigfoot and whatever cryptids that they may get. Uh, it's a husband and wife team, and hope everybody enjoys it tonight. And his name is Josh, and his wife's name is Kim. So we hope that you enjoy this tonight, and we're going to bring him on first, and then we're going to bring Kim on because they have a little one that they have to take care of, their littlest child, and so we're going to bring him on first, and then we're going to bring her on. And then after both of them have been on, we are going to do a little bit of questions where you guys can answer questions of them and get to know them a little better. And hope you enjoy it tonight, guys. So we're going to bring Josh on. Hey, Josh.
Hello, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing tonight? Oh, pretty good. Um, I was just telling everybody that you're a husband and wife team, and y'all do stories of cryptids that y'all get in. Um, so why don't you tell everybody a little bit about uh, yourself and why you got into doing cryptid stories?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, my name's Josh. I've been into cryptids. I'm 44 years old. Basically, been in it all my life. My wife Kim, she's fairly new to this. She's only been in it about 6 years now. But we wanted to start a group. It's kind of hard to explain, but kind of wanted to start a group that's different from everybody else's group. Just a nice, clean group, and I don't like a lot of people trolling, cussing on my channel. I get rid of those pretty quick. But we do a story format. Like if you want to send the encounters into us, my wife will put it together for you and put it on a video with a green screen behind us, and kind of just makes it more interesting for people to watch. And we do from Bigfoot, different types of Bigfoot, the Yetis, the Yowies, and we do Dogman, the werewolves. We even do
Mm-hmm.
paranormal, ghost encounters, aliens, missing 411 in national parks. So we do a wide variety of different stories. Just trying to make it a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. So, you said you've been into this most of your life. What got you interested in cryptids?
Probably, probably the movie when it came out, Harry and the Hendersons. I'm sure most of you remember that. Ever since I seen that when I was a little boy, probably about 9 or 10 years old, it just got me fascinated with it. I've never had a personal encounter, not yet. I ain't been the one of the lucky ones, as we'll say, but hopefully that'll happen one day soon.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, it ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Right.
It ain't all flowers and cookies and cake. Trust me.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people saying that.
Um, so what part of the channel do you take care of? I know your wife reads the stories, but you do you do all the camera work? You do all the editing, or what do you do for your channel?
Y- Yeah, I do everything except what you see Kim doing. I do all most of the research. I do all the camera setups, all the editing, putting the green screen behind it, and trying to teach her how to tell it in a story format because she's new to this. But from her first video, we got 13 now, I believe, posted, and there's a huge difference from number one to up to 13 now. She's improved so much. And, just when she gets 20, 30, 40 more videos, she's going to be really good.
So, how do you go about getting your stories? I mean, do y'all find them on the web, or do people send them to you, or how do y'all go about that?
We started at the beginning just doing research, finding them on the internet and rewording them a little bit, telling them a little bit better. But as her channels grow now, we're getting encounters like crazy, people emailing them to us.
Mhm. So, do y'all go through a process of trying to vet the stories, or do y'all just take them at face value and read your stories out?
It depends on the story. When some people email them to us, all they do is email the story. We have to go from there. But yeah, I try to take each encounter, add a little bit, take away a little bit, just to set the scene a little bit better. Trying to get people to get into it, because I would listen to a lot of Dogman encounters on YouTube, radio and stuff. And when you're listening to something, if you can get into it and put
Mhm.
yourself in that place, it just makes it so much better for the people, and they'll come back and watch some more of your newer videos.
Okay. So, is there what would be your I'm going to ask this because you've never seen a Sasquatch before. What would be your um, the most optimum chance that you could go out and see a Bigfoot? What would that be for you?
Probably going out alone for
Would it
one.
be up close, long ways off?
No, I'd like to see one up close and personal. I mean, I know they're real. I mean, there's too many people seeing things, and but yeah, I would like to have a up close and personal. I may regret it after, but at least I would know, see with my own eyes. It just everybody says it's special when you see one.
Yeah, yeah. It's special. It's a special situation. It's a lot of fear and anxiety when you see one. Um,
Oh yeah.
so, I mean, would you want your wife to, or would you? I mean, does she go out with you if you go out looking around for a Bigfoot or anything about?
Oh yeah, yeah. She goes with me, and we haven't filmed any footage yet, but we're gonna. That's something we're bringing to her channel. We're gonna do some out in the woods footage of us doing some, probably in the next, I don't know, kind of wait till it warms up just a bit. Next 2 or 3 months, we're definitely going to have some,
Mhm.
live footage like that coming from encounters going out in the woods at night. We still got to get a few more camera setups with the infrared for we can night vision on our cameras and everything. But yeah, hopefully soon we're going to have some of that
Mhm.
footage.
Okay. Um, is there anything special that you would like to tell anybody about? Your channel. Uh, I mean, is there something that you really like about the channel, or anything in particular that you would like to bring out tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we're really tickled with our channel so far. We started it January the 6th, and today's the 29th, and it's did great. I mean, we have a lot of interaction with our members. We do the prize giveaways for every 100 members.
Hmm.
We've did 4 prize giveaways now, and we're fixing to do the 5th one. But yeah, our channel, like I said, it's more of a video format to your encounter. So as I grow, we're gonna get better technology on the computer screens and the software to hopefully eventually we can edit your encounter
Mhm.
where like a little video of little actors behind it is recreating your encounter, sort of like Terror in the Woods. I'm sure most of you just watched that TV show. That's her goal to get to something close to that point.
Mhm. So let me ask you this: where do you foresee your channel in the next 6 months? I mean, with subscribers, where would you like to be in the next 6 months?
The rate is growing now. I think we're at 80, 84 or 86 subscribers as of a few minutes ago. And 6 months from now, my goal is to be 1,000+ subscribers, and I'm pretty sure we can reach that goal. I mean, because it's just growing so fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and you know, I brought you on you and your wife on here tonight because I mean, y'all, I like your work. I mean, I believe she does a very good job of telling the stories, and y'all do a really good job of uh, highlighting and making the videos. And you don't pull any punches when it comes to telling the story. You don't throw in a bunch of off the wall stuff that you have no
Right.
idea about, and you tell it like it is. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we tell them as the encounters that has the people writes it to me, and we don't try to embellish it or anything like that. We try to be honest as we can with it, but I can only write what the people send in to me. So, but most of them so far seem
Hmm.
pretty legit. There's nothing too extraordinary. Hard to believe stuff.
Yeah. People will definitely start noticing your channel because, like you said, y'all don't try to embellish your stories. You don't try to make it out to something that you didn't have. You just had the personal story and you tell it like they told you. And so, y'all shouldn't have a problem getting 1,000 subscribers within the next 6 months. Probably by June or July, you probably around the 1,000 range.
Yeah, I sure hope so. That would be great. I mean, like I said, as we grow, we're gonna get better technology, to make the videos a little bit more professional looking. Like I said, I'm new to editing. I've only been editing since January the 6th when we started this channel. My 12-year-old boy taught me a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know how that goes. I've got grandkids that are that age, and they teach me all the time. So don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring your wife in. I know y'all have to trade off, so yeah, let her come
Yep.
in, and we'll get the front lady, and we'll do a question and answer session here a little bit later. Okay.
Okay. Give me just 1 second.
All right.
Okay, Kim.
Oh, guys, whenever we do the question and answer part of this the show tonight, please put everything in capital letters, and that way I'll be able to see your questions. And I'm glad everybody's made it. Long Island, Bigfoot, Mogollon, uh, all the regulars are in. Glad to have everybody here tonight. Glad to see you, David, Richard.
Go ahead and say it. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, young lady?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Um, I was talking to your husband, and I was just asking him about your channel and what he does behind the scenes. But now we have the face that's in front of the camera,
Yes,
and
you do.
uh, you know, I like the way you tell the stories. You do a pretty awesome job actually. And
Thank you.
you know, tell us how your husband talked you into getting in front of the camera and doing Bigfoot and other cryptid stories.
Well, I mean, he just pitched the ideal, and of course, I was all up for it. I'm just still trying to get used to being in front of the camera. So, I mean, I enjoy it. I'm just starting out doing the whole story thing, but, I'm working on improving it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoy
Well, you do
telling
a fine
stories.
job.
Well, thank you.
Um, I have no complaints at all about the way you tell the stories. I mean, you do a really good job.
Thanks.
Um, Let me ask you a few questions here. And uh, what, where would you like the channel to be in the next 6 months?
Um, I mean, if I could get it to go even further and reach more people, that would be great. The bigger, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would like to grow it as
So
much as possible.
you're thinking, right. So you're thinking along the lines of uh 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers maybe in the next 6 months.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's my goal.
Okay. Now, I know you just put up another video, but from your first video to this video, how much has it changed the way that you tell the story?
Well, like yesterday, I mean, I only had one guy make a smart comment. So, my husband was like, he said, you can't let just one person's rude comment, just get you down. And I said, well, no. I said, because everybody else that, that's commented has had nothing but good things to say. But like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I enjoy telling the stories. I mean, I like anything that, Bigfoot,
Right.
paranormal. I mean, all of them.
Right. Yeah, your husband's right. You can't pay a bit of attention to those people that get on there and say, you don't know, the way you tell your story, or you do too many or what. Don't listen to them. Do it your way. Um,
Well,
so just don't worry about it.
like I said, I'm just starting out, but like I was telling my husband yesterday, I mean, I'm working on improving it and getting better. I want to be able to, eventually be in front of the camera telling a story, but having to do it without, I want to memorize it enough to where I can just tell it my way instead of just reading it, off the paper like I've been doing. That's my goal.
Well, I mean, it's everybody thinks it's real easy just to sit back and read off a piece of paper. Um, but then when you do it that way, it doesn't have any people don't get into the story. So that's why I like your channel, because you do it the way that people get into the moment of the encounter with whatever story you're reading.
Like I said, I mean, I enjoy doing it. I don't just get on there just to for the attention or just to be on camera. I enjoy telling stories like that, and I always
Mm-hmm.
like hearing everyone's thoughts on them. Like what do you think it could
Yeah.
be, or what was the what do you think the outcome was of the whole story?
Mm-hmm. Now, I asked your husband. This is a pretty tough question,
Okay.
but since he takes you out bigfooting, what would be your optimum chance of seeing a Bigfoot? Do you want it an up close encounter? Do you want it a distant encounter? 100 yards, 200 yards away? What would be your what would be in your mind the optimum chance of seeing Bigfoot?
I want to see one, but far off in the distance to start out because they're huge,
Yeah,
and I'm not sure how aggressive they might be. So
yeah. Um, well, and you're trying to say you don't want to see one at 20 feet like I did, right?
right.
Um, so I know y'all have a family, and how do you being mom um, get the time to actually sit down and memorize the stories and tell us how you go about doing your memorizing and reading the story, and tell us how you do that being a male.
I usually just wait till both of them are in bed or one's in school, and then I do my research and just write it on paper, and I just just keep on reading and reading and reading over it. Because when I put a story out there, I like to read it
Okay.
exactly. When I put a story out, I like to read it as exactly as I read it from whoever wrote it. So I mean, I just like to make sure when I tell it, I do a great job at it.
Okay. So you're great at managing your time. You know when you can and when you can't, and
Oh yes, I actually do most of it at night when we get the
so
little one to bed.
oh well, yeah. When the little one really can't do a whole lot, I know that for a fact.
Oh no, she's 5 and she keeps us on our toes.
Um,
Trust me.
so well, the biggest question they wants to know is does she sleep all night without waking up twice or three times wanting to play?
No, she's usually once she's out for the night, which is a good thing for me because, like I said,
My wife's over here
that's when I do my best work when she goes to sleep.
yeah, my wife's over here giving you a thumbs up. um, so I know y'all do stories. What out of the videos that you've done so far, what's the most interesting one to you?
um, well, I like Bigfoot, but I also like the one that done. There's been the cabin in the Smokies, and then the one about the lights. I mean, I like them all.
Mm-hmm.
So, but um, Bigfoot is definitely one of my favorite.
Okay. So, do you remember the title of the one that you enjoyed the most doing yet?
Not right off.
Okay. So, let me ask you this question, and then we'll try to do a little bit of questions from the audience.
Okay,
Um, we got. I got one more question for you.
go for it.
When, when your husband said, "Honey," would you be interested in getting in front of a camera and reading stories? What was your reaction?
I said sure. I was all up for it. It was
You
just a
mean
spur of the
you
moment
didn't have
ideal
to
he
ask
had.
him?
So
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
You
What
didn't
was your
have
question?
to ask him, "Are you serious?"
No, no.
Oh, okay. Well, you did better than my wife. She kind of looked at me, so are you crazy? and uh, took her on a Bigfoot investigation, and she got to hear Bigfoot trying to sound like a coyote and all that good stuff. But she just looked at me like I was nuts.
I'm sure she probably did.
Um, well, she's a little woman, so she's only 5 foot tall, but um, she's pretty smart. Um, she knows when to run and when to hide, and I
I'm
think that's a
short
good
too. Don't
attribute.
feel
She looks
bad.
at me sometimes. He looks at me sometimes and tells me it's time for us to leave, and I have to listen to her because she's got like a sixth sense or whatever, and it just seems to keep us out of trouble.
Exactly.
So when y'all go out to when y'all go out to do your Bigfoot, when y'all go out to see if you can get an answer or whatever, when you go out and do research on Bigfoot, do y'all look for markers or do y'all just go anywhere and see if you can find anything, or is it places that people have told you they've seen a Bigfoot or anything of that nature? How do y'all go about doing your night research?
We just usually, go to places that people recommend, and I look for any signs, of anything being moved or especially footprints. So that's kind of what I go off of, or just listening for the sound.
So when y'all have been out, have y'all ever heard a Bigfoot scream or anything?
I haven't yet.
You haven't yet.
I've heard a coyote.
Um, um, you want to tell everybody what state y'all live in? Don't give your city or anything like that. Just what state y'all are in. And
We are from East Tennessee.
okay. In fact, I think this coming spring we'll be down in y'all's neighborhood.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yep, we're surrounded
Maybe we'll
by
get
mountains down here.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a chance and we'll stop by and go out with y'all one night. And uh, I guess I'll do what my wife and my best friend says is the constipated hillbilly call for you.
That's funny. Never heard it that way.
Hey, I'm the first time I ever did a Bigfoot howl around my best friend. He has Bigfoot on his property most of the year. First time I did, he jumped about 3 foot over to the right and looked at me like, "Where in the world did that come from?" So it scared him a little bit.
Right.
So let's go to the audience and see if they have any questions for you guys. When you put your questions up, so I can see the questions and see if they give us some questions here, and then we'll put them up and let you answer. Okay.
Sure.
Um, guys, y'all have any questions for the young lady? I know you got to have some kind of a question. Okay, we got a question here. Um, David Lynch says, "What is your take on the LBL, Land Between the
That's a
Lakes?"
that's a very interesting one. And I would love to go check that out. And honestly, I think that really happened. I mean, I've read a lot of information on that whole story, and it creeps me out. It's just, really scary not knowing
N-
what actually happened
Now,
or
when you're mhm. Now, when you say the story, are you talking about the one where the family was torn apart by some kind of a creature?
yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So your take on the LBL is you would like to check it out for your own self and put on your channel that you were there and that you had a chance to check out on what was going on in the area.
Oh, yes. That would be very interesting. I mean, to do yourself.
Yeah. Well, I've been there. It's a little scary. I'll tell you that. Um, Southern Grits wants to know, do you post daily?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Sharon Guy would like to know, have you had an encounter and what happened? She came in a little late.
I haven't, but you could probably talk to my husband about. You'd have to talk to my husband about that one.
Okay. Joseph Cornell wants to know, are you near rivers or creeks, a wetland, or are you surrounded by mountains? I think you're surrounded by mountains,
Yeah,
aren't you?
mountains and river. Yeah.
Okay. Pappy Two Bears has a question for you. He wants to know, when was your last time doing an investigation and what were your findings?
That's another one. I haven't been on one yet with my husband. That's another one that would have to be off the books for him to answer.
Okay. Brandon O'Neill wants to know, do you have you done any stories about shadow people?
No, but I would actually like to.
Okay. What do you think? Big Rob wants to know, what do you think about Dogmen?
Dogman, I think they are real,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they do. I think they are real, and I think they do exist. It's just finding out
Okay.
where they exist. What areas.
Well, you go into the LBL and you'll be in a hotbed of them, is what I understand from what I know. And Sharon Guy wants to know, have you or your husband ever seen little people?
Seen what?
Little people.
No, I sure haven't.
Okay. Uh, Audrey and Jamie want to know, what is your craziest experience or your husband's craziest experience?
Well, my craziest experience was visiting a graveyard a long time ago and just, getting random pics and having something show up in it I wasn't expecting. So, as far as, anything else, that's probably about pretty much it for that one.
Okay. Um, have you ever seen UFOs?
Actually, I was going to throw that out there. I won't say that I have seen one, but I'm pretty sure I did at some point because my dad's
Mm-hmm.
mother, she used to live up in the old 15th in Cott County. And when we would go, she lived way back up in the
Uh-huh.
mountains. And so every night we would come down from her house. There was like a house set off on a bank, but there was a mountain up a, a mountain up behind that house that you could walk up. And we would literally
Mm-hmm.
stop there every night as we come down because we kept seeing these lights. And my dad would say, "Well, I wonder what that could be, Kim." And I would be like, "I don't know." And then it sit there in the same space for like I'm guessing probably a week. I mean, it didn't even move, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just like it looked like just this big round thing. But like I said, it had all different colors of lights on it, and you could see them because because the trees was there was enough space in between the trees you could see the lights. And I asked my dad, I said, "Is there a house up there on that mountaintop right there, Dad?" And he's like, "Kim, honey, I've been all over these mountains." And he said, "I promise you, there is not a house up there on that mountain." He said, "That honestly," he said, "I've never believed in UFOs, but he said, I wouldn't doubt one bit that that's not what that is up there." So, like I said, we would go up to my grandmother's and be coming back late at night, and we'd stop right there in that one certain spot, and we would just sit there and just, look at those lights, just trying to figure out what they were. But then after a week passed, when we, kept going at my grandmother's and coming back, it just disappeared. But
Hmm.
I still believe to this day that it was a UFO.
Well, that is an interesting story. I mean, that's um, I've personally never seen anything that I couldn't identify, in the night sky or during the daytime. But no, there's quite a few people out here that talk about them, and there's a lot of evidence. So, but the way you describe it, it does, since there's no homes around there, that had to be something that you could have put under, a UFO, unidentified. I mean, it's
Oh yeah,
something that,
I do believe UFOs exist. I mean, call me crazy, but I really do believe they exist.
yeah. Um, I'm going back through here, and I got Brandon O'Neill. Says, besides Bigfoot, have y'all experienced anything else like ghosts? And you just told us about a UFO. So, have you ever seen a ghost or anything of that nature?
Um, I have. We used to live in a very old farmhouse about, I would say 3 years ago that my family owned, and
Mm-hmm.
my cousin that her husband owned it. Her mother had actually had a massive heart attack and passed away in that house. So after that, they moved
Mm-hmm.
out and moved into the house down the road. So we moved in, and one night I came home from work, and my husband said, "I'm not trying to scare you or anything." He said, "But I was just sitting here in this, room watching TV," and he said, "I know what I seen." He said, "Right before you got here," he said, "there was a silhouette figure, like it just peeped around the door corner, just looking to see what I was doing." So I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
seen ghosts before, so I believed him. I knew he wouldn't lie about it. And then after he told me that,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't bother me. And then about a week later, we were laying in bed asleep. We'd went to bed for the night, and I woke up about, I would say, around 2:30 that morning. And when I woke up, I just thought I was seeing things or half asleep. But when I actually looked up,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I caught was a glimpse of a lady, and she was just in just a white lacy dress. But I didn't want to, poke my head out from under the cover enough to really look at to see if she actually had a face. So I
Uh-huh.
told my husband, I was like, "Well," I said, "after you seen your little silhouette, shadow here a week ago," I said, "I actually seen mine this morning." And then I told him about, what happened, and I was like, "Yep." we definitely have a ghost in the house, but I mean, it never bothered us or anything, and so I had no reason to be frightened. So I guess it had to be my aunt that passed away in the house was the only thing I could figure out.
Yeah. She's probably just checking up on you to make sure you were doing all right.
Oh
That's
yeah.
probably what it was. Now, I know this is a real in-depth question, but
Okay.
Mick Marr wants to know, uh, since the government, if the government are lying about Bigfoot, would you agree they are hiding much more, like the existence of other cryptids? And I think it's a tough question.
That's really not a tough question because it wouldn't surprise me what the government's hiding from us. They don't tell us everything. And
Yeah,
I mean, you take a look at the news around you and what goes on. I mean, they hide stuff because they don't want us knowing about any of it.
that's right. Yeah, they don't want you to do anything. Uh, they don't want you to know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They want you to know whatever they can throw out there anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see if we can find some more here. Uh, so let me ask you a question concerning some of the stories that you've done. When you've done the stories, are you able to put yourself in that person's place?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like, when I'm reading the story, I mean, it's kind of like reading your favorite book. If I start a favorite book I like, I can just sit and just continue to read it and go on and on. That's just like the stories. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy being able to really, get into the story and kind of put myself in their shoes.
Okay, I'm going to use my personal experience at age 16. Um, Now I'll give you a gist of it, and just for the fun of it, let's give them a little sample of your ability to tell a story. When I was 16, a Bigfoot walked out from behind a 7 foot tall boulder at 20 feet from me. Now I was deer hunting. I had a rifle at my shoulder, and the Bigfoot went through about, I would say, four different phases with its face. It went from surprise and kind of like a surprise, like, how did you get there? To a look of aggression, curling its lip, showing its teeth. And then from there, it went to, at this point, when it took two steps towards me, I pulled the hammer back, and then it went straight into an expression of, oh no. And then it went to the expression of trying to think a way out. So, with that, can you give a small sample to the viewers to show your ability of telling a story?
Okay, I can try. um, so you were scared shitless, more or less.
Well, at age 16, I don't think I was scared to that point, but I was afraid.
I know I would have been. I would have been running. I would have ran like crazy and
Well,
been
I
looking
was
for the
trying,
nearest shelter or barn I could find to get into.
yeah. Um, no, I was sitting down. I was intent on I had a picture of a white-tailed buck walking out, me taking the shot, and going back and telling my dad, and my dad being proud of me at age 16, getting my first white-tailed buck, and that was what I was thinking until this thing stepped out. When it stepped out, the year before that, I had seen the legend of Boggy Creek, and I looked at my dad that evening, and I remember it because I can remember the position my dad was laying, what chair I was sitting in. I could tell you everything about the house when I was watching that movie with my dad. And I looked at him. I said, "Dad, those things aren't real, are they?" He looked at me and told me, "No, it's just a movie, son. Don't worry about it." And for a year and 20 some days later, one walks out in front of me. So, they, I was, I was scared, but I was in amazement of this thing. But I also knew and understood that hunting, because it had chased some deer out in front of me, and they were does, and these does took off. So, you know, with that knowledge, could you make a story up out of that and just give us a little sample of it? Your best shot. Just do whatever you can.
Hmm. That would be a hard one. I would have to sit down and really think about that as to how I actually want to, put it out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about this? I'll send you an email
Okay.
with every detail in the story,
Okay.
and you do it your way, tell it your way, and we'll have everybody come and look how good you do at telling a story that I've already told,
Okay.
and and that way you can showcase your ability to tell a story.
Sure.
Okay. It looks like you should have on your YouTube channel by now close to 100 subscribers. We've got a few people that have a little bit more than a few. It's been quite a few that went on and subscribe to your channel for your like. And so let's uh, let's give you a break, and let's
Okay.
bring in your husband and give him a break from 5-year-old running.
All right. Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Now,
She had some
some of the
tough questions.
questions that I asked your wife were kind of didn't have an answer for it. She said it was more along your lines.
Yeah.
But first off, why don't you tell us about the experience that you had in the house a few years ago?
I wasn't listening to what she was saying about which one was she talking about?
The one where you were there at the house and the where her aunt had passed away.
I'm not familiar with that one. That must have been before me and her got together. We've been together 6 years now. That must have been before I knew her.
Okay.
'Cause I don't recall that story.
Well, let's see here. They asked a question earlier about have you or her ever seen a UFO? Have you ever seen a UFO?
Yeah, I seen something last summer. I don't know what it was, but we was all outside, and my 12-year-old daughter said, looked up the sky. She said, "What is that?" We was coming home from Walmart or something, and I seen it. I don't know what exactly it was. It looked like but the size of the moon would be, but it was orange pulsating light. And it never did move. No sound. It stayed there for about, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 20, 30 seconds. Then it just like it went out. That's the closest thing I've seen to a UFO. If I don't know what it was, it could be something you could explain, but I just didn't know what it was.
Okay. Let's see here. So, Josh, let me ask you. I know you you've been lucky enough not to have seen a Bigfoot yet.
Right.
Have you found footprints of Bigfoot or Dogman or anything of that nature when you went out doing research on these creatures?
Never found the first print yet.
Hmm. Not found one.
Not the first one.
You seen a UFO? How do you feel about the? Everybody wants to know. How do you feel about the way the government is handling these cryptids?
Yeah,
As in, they don't tell you everything or what?
I could talk about that all night. Yeah, the government, and just in my opinion, yeah, they're covering that up for sure. I've got I can't mention names, but I've got friends that's really high up in the military, and they've told me some pretty good, interesting stories on some of that. Like I said, I can't mention names or nothing because they're still active duty. But yeah, I mean, I did a lot of research on the government, and it just, I mean, anybody with common sense can, if you read these stories and research as much as I have, I mean, yeah, the government is definitely covering them up. Why? It could be several reasons. It's like when the spotted owl was, found in the woods. They shut
Hmm.
all production down. It's just it's a money thing's all it is. And same with UFOs. I mean, I believe UFOs are real. And the government knows about them.
How do you feel about? Um, do you think the government, in your opinion? Now, I just want your opinion.
Sure.
Um, do you think the government, when a Bigfoot or a Dogman uh, get out of hand and they harm human beings, do you believe that the government goes in and gets rid of those creatures? Or
Absolutely, 100%.
okay,
And the reason I
so
say that is, like I said, I was mentioning my friends in the military. And yeah,
mhm,
I can't go in a lot of detail on that yet, but yeah, 100%. I'd bet any amount of money on it.
okay. Now, you've said you have friends in the military.
Yes,
Have they told you of things that's happened on bases they've been on, or
absolutely.
anything of that nature? Okay.
Yeah, I can't discuss
Have
I can't discuss it yet, but I mean,
mhm.
hopefully I can soon. I mean, I just don't want to get the guy in trouble. Obviously, because I don't know who's watching.
Right, right, right. I understand that. Yeah. I've got buddies that are in the military still, and they're colonels on up, and I talk to them every once in a while, and they've told me a few things. And I've had retired military call me and give stories about when they were on a base, but
Yeah.
they don't. We try not to give much information so they don't get them in. Audrey and Jamie wants to know what has been your craziest experience in any of the paranormal realms?
Mine would be
Cryptids all the way to ghosts.
the craziest thing I've ever had happen is I used to be on a ghost hunting team, and I have seen several ghosts. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff on that. My scariest experience, we was in a warehouse. It was an old warehouse that shut down, and we went in to investigate. And about I don't know, a couple hours into it, we'd all go in a upstairs. The downstairs was one big giant factory floor. Then you had offices upstairs. So I was upstairs in the office by herself, pitch black, and I felt somebody put his hand on my shoulder back here. So, it startled me. I jumped and turned my flashlight on, but there wasn't a soul in that room. That was pretty scary.
That would be scary.
I don't know what it was. I mean, but something touched my back, and it felt like a hand.
Here's another guy from Squatching Cowboy wants to know what area you guys are in. I know you're in Eastern Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we're in East Tennessee in a town called Morristown, Tennessee. It's about an hour east of Knoxville.
Morristown. Why does that sound familiar to me? That ain't all 40, is it?
Yeah, right off exit 8.
Yeah, I've been past there hundreds of times, if not thousands by now.
Yeah, we're kind of right in between Greenville, Kingsport, Johnson City, and Knoxville. We're right in the middle of those.
Okay. Now, when y'all go investigate, is the area near that you go to investigate? I know you go to different places because where people recommend.
Right.
But is most of it around where you live?
Yeah, most time for the cryptid, when we investigate cryptids and stuff, I usually go Cage Cove in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area, and we've got a big farm. We have a a lease on over in Hancock County in Sneeville, Tennessee. That's right below Blackwater, Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of woods over in that area.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of woods between the state line and Knoxville. They can hide in.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I've never had experience yet, but I mean, it's just a matter of time, I guess.
Yeah, it don't take long. If you keep going, you'll see one. The only thing is I got a question for you too. People want to know if you've ever heard a Bigfoot scream or howl or whoops or anything of that nature, or anything that's associated with a Bigfoot making sounds, tree knocks.
Not that I can say 100%. You know how it is when you hear the coyotes start yapping. I mean, I've heard some other noises along with coyotes. I've heard some things that sound like a tree knock, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that's 100% what I heard. But yeah, I have heard things like that, but just nothing 100%. Sure what it was.
So I asked your wife earlier if she could retell the story that I of the first one that I seen at age 16. Could you, with the information that I gave to her, um, you know, I'm gonna send my encounter to you from when the first one I saw,
Okay.
and I might even send you a couple more that nobody has ever known about.
Okay.
I've not had them on my channel because it's about me, and I don't want to. I don't want my channel to be about me. So I'll try to send y'all a couple of them.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: if you get a story in about an encounter where someone goes missing,
Okay.
um, how would you go about doing that story?
First thing I do after I read it, I would hit Google. I Google it because if somebody went missing, that's going to make it be on some type of news media. I would first verify it to make sure it was a real, story what happened, and then from there I would just read through it. Try to put it in a little bit better story format as we're telling it. Then I would try to find some kind of a picture. If there's no pictures on the news media or anything, I would take pictures off Google. That way I can play them in the background on the green screen behind it. It tells the story along with her Kim telling the story. Kind of have a little bit of pictures to go along with it. That's usually how I tackle
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Okay. It looks like Long Island Bigfoot would like to know if you'd like to have an encounter.
Oh
Send
yeah,
you one if you'd like.
absolutely.
And I've seen another question here. Let's see. Tam Tam asked a question, and I know you've not had a lot. You've not done a lot of investigating, but she has the question of: can tree knocks with that Bigfoot do happen during daytime hours? What would be your opinion on that?
My opinion, just on the research I did, yes. But like I said, you might be the right guy to answer that. I've never had an encounter or anything, but just from my research, what I've researched, I've heard they can. Yes.
Yeah, they tree knock all times of day and night. So yes, you got it right. I mean, you done it right. Um, so since you're behind the camera all the time, and I know you do the editing and you do the green screen work and all that for your wife to get in front of and tell the story, why don't you uh, tell everybody your email to where they can send stories to? Because I think there's 3 or 4 different people that want to send you an encounter that they've had with either a Bigfoot or dog man
Okay.
or ghost or whatever that nature. Why don't you give everybody your email here, and then we'll get you to do one more uh, question
Okay.
and after that, and then if if there's any other questions, we'll see, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Yeah. Our email is Josh and Kim's Cryptid Stories at gmail.com. Our YouTube page, of course, is Eastern Cryptid Encounters. Anybody has an encounter they'd like to send us, we'll do our best, to put it in a story format for you. And I can even email you back the video before we post it to make sure. And if you don't want your name included, just let us know in the email. We won't put nobody's name or the area if you don't want the area, the location and everything. But yeah, please send away anything to do with cryptids, paranormal, aliens, missing people. Like I said, I know a lot more about paranormal than anything. I mean, I know a lot about the cryptids, but never had an encounter. I've had plenty of encounters on ghost hunting and stuff. So anything you guys want to send us,
Mm-hmm.
please feel free to.
Okay. Um, Question from Pappy Two Bears. He wants to know what methods have you been using to conduct your research in the field? when you go out at night.
Yeah, as far as cryptids, we do a lot of it in the daylight for the simple reason now because I don't have the infrared cameras, which we will have soon with a thermal camera. We have one out at night, but no video camera, nothing with us, of course. But we basically just go hit these areas that's really remote. We'll walk, depending on how the property's laid out. We usually start walking a couple 100 yards. We'll stop, listen, do that 3 or 4 times. If we don't hear anything, we've tried tree knocks, we've tried whooping. I've never had anything answer as yet, but like I said, we're still learning on this, and can't wait to have something actually happen. I may regret it, but yeah, that's basically how we're doing it right now. At nighttime, daytime, we walk around. We try to hit creeks, kind of like a game trail. I'm a big deer hunter too. You kind of look for the same patterns. I try to locate a deer trail first, kind of walk to the side of it, and I look for prints. I found some. It looks like old prints before, but like I said, I don't know 100% if they was an actual old print from cryptid. But yeah, I learned a lot off of Google. Watching all kinds of shows. Everybody's shows. I watch and try to take in as much information as I can right now, and hopefully we'll have you guys some actual evidence. This year sometime. Hopefully.
Okay. This spring, I, along with Manimal Research, and I hope the Squatching Cowboy are going to try to go and into an area there in Tennessee. It's down near the Georgia border. We were going to try it. We tried to do it last year, but my daughter got sick, and we had to leave. We were going to interview Surge and Janice Carter on Saturday night, but our daughter got sick and they had to rush her to the hospital, and we had to come home. What we're going to try to do is get everybody together and go out and do some squatching at night, and try to video it. If we give y'all 3 or 4 weeks or 5 weeks notice, do you think you might be able to make it?
Oh yeah, should be no problem. Talking about down below Chattanooga, down in that area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Chattanooga's
not
only
too far from.
yeah Chattanooga's only about 2 hours from us.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get everything straightened out. Hopefully this COVID stuff disappears soon.
Oh yeah, because in the next couple months we're planning on getting some really high tech equipment. Better cameras with the night vision on it and the actual thermal imager. We're gonna hopefully have all that here really soon.
Okay.
Because
Well,
I want to be the guy that
is there
has 100% evidence. Of course, I want to be the guy that finds that.
right? So how do you feel about? And I know this is a touchy subject with a lot of people. What is your opinion on the kill no kill thing?
I'm no kill. I mean, now don't get me wrong. Now, when you see some of my videos coming up when we're out in the woods, I'm gonna be packing my handgun on me, but that's just strictly for protection only. I have no intent to kill one of these things if I do get lucky enough to see one, unless it's aggressively trying to attack me. And more likely, it's gonna kill me anyway. But I mean,
Right. Well, they are pretty big. I mean, alpha males can get anywhere from 10, 12 feet, 13, 14 feet in your area.
yeah.
Uh, they weigh well
Honest,
over 1,000 pounds. They can be big and bad.
honestly, I would be more scared of the dogman than I would the Sasquatch. Just from my research, they're supposed to be so much more aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've only seen 3 of them, and that story is coming out on a video next week. Um, and it was a little bit of a situation that it just got thrown in my lap, and it was, trying to help a gentleman with his sheep farm, and it was a little bit, it was a little messy. Not on the standpoint of, having to deal with aggressive dog men, or aggressive Bigfoot in the area. It was, what those creatures were doing uh, to the farmers, or the sheep herders' sheep, and that's what got a little messy.
Oh yeah.
But all the details will be in there on the video next week, guys. So hope y'all take time and watch that one. So what have your stories been mainly about in the videos that y'all have done? Have they been,
Uh,
kind of equal, or?
yeah, we're getting more Bigfoot encounters now. At the beginning, we was just doing a lot of researching, but yeah, Bigfoot is the main one. Excuse me, and then Dogman would be probably number 2 that we've got coming up, and we're getting quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit of encounters with the reptilian people, which I'm not real familiar with those. I'm having to research those right now, trying to find out more about them before I do an encounter with them.
Hmm.
You
Uh,
know, I've heard of them from
so
TV shows, but I just don't have much experience in them.
right. Let me ask you this. Now I know you said that the night that you got touched, when a hand went down your back, that was your scariest time when you were out ghost hunting, right?
Yes,
Or was there something worse that
nothing.
when
No,
a
nothing.
ghost has chased you?
I've never had nothing worse than that. I mean, I've had several encounters that scared me, but that by far when the only time I've been touched by something I can't see.
Okay. Cindy Johns wants to know: have you received any stories from Southwest Louisiana or Louisiana in general?
No, not yet. I've heard some stories about down there in Louisiana though, but I hadn't had nobody send me any yet.
Okay, Louisiana, it's your turn to start sending some stories in. Um, Let me see here. I got something directed at me. Let me answer this.
All right.
Jason said, you need to start telling us those stories, your stories of Bigfoot battles and evictions. Oh, well, Jason, if I told all those stories uh, about Bigfoot fighting other Bigfoot, or Bigfoot fighting some kind of a war or something between them and dog men, that's all we would have. Uh, but I'll have some coming out, Jason. Don't worry. We're going to make sure you guys are well entertained. And like I said earlier, I want all you guys to go over to their channel, subscribe to their channel, and they do a wonderful job on these stories. I mean, whatever they get in, they read it, they tell it like it is. They don't sugarcoat anything. They don't hide nothing from you. They don't change anything. So go over to their channel and subscribe to their channel. And so, Josh, if it's all right with you, we've been here for about an hour and 15 minutes now, and so we will, if you don't mind, we'll let you get back to that 5-year-old
Okay.
and back to your beautiful wife. And I thank you for coming on and telling us about your channel. And it looks to me like we're going to be getting a sudden influx of some stories coming to you.
Yeah.
I've been looking at the chat, people talking about it, and they're wanting to send them to you.
Yeah, thank you for putting us on here and having us on here. I greatly appreciate it.
Hey, it was my privilege to bring you guys on. Like I said before, I like the way y'all do the stories, and I like the way you run. And you don't put up with all that stuff of people, you know, coming on there, and you don't listen to the detractors, and y'all keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be just fine. Probably within the next 6 months, you're going to be well over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, I sure hope so. And like I said, we want to thank you again. And yeah, send us that email with your story, and we'll try to impress you and do it the best we can.
I will. You don't need to impress me; just impress the viewers. That's all. That's all. You don't have to impress me. I had enough impression from that story, from that encounter. One piece of advice from Pappy Two Bears, and this man he's very good at doing Bigfoot and stuff like that. And he says, Josh, up there in the mountains, he said, check out the fingertip points of the ridges,
Okay.
where a couple of valleys come together. Boogers seem to love those areas, and they use them as lookouts too.
Would that be sort of
Take
like
his
where
advice.
would that be sort of like where the deer will cross in the low spot on top of the mountains?
Yeah, in there, because deer will fall. The Bigfoot will follow the deer.
Yep.
And that's how they hunt them. They run them through areas where it's a pinch point, and that's where they'll go to.
Okay. Yeah. Tell them thank you.
But like I said earlier, thank you, Josh, and tell your wife I said thank you also. She did wonderful. So did you, and y'all keep doing what you've been doing.
All right. Like I said, I appreciate it very much. Thanks for everybody watching.
All righty. We'll put you in the back room, and I'll be back here in just a minute. Let me end the show,
Okay.
and I'll be right with you. Okay, buddy?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, guys, I thank y'all for coming tonight, and I thank you for all the comments and all the questions that you asked. Like I said earlier, go subscribe to their channel. They do a wonderful job at telling the stories. And I noticed Mogollon is needing a few more subscribers to be at that 1,000 range. I ask all of you guys to go over to Mogollon Monster, to his YouTube channel, and subscribe to it. And Mogollon, if I haven't subscribed, I'll be over there shortly to subscribe. I apologize. I should have done that sooner. It's been a hectic year. 2020 has been one year I just would rather not have lived through. But thank you everybody for coming, and I appreciate y'all here, and all of y'all have a blessed night. And I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. We'll see y'all next time. Watch for the story coming out next week.